Today, in part 2 of our two-part series, I'm going to show you the criteria that a borrower's deal must meet before we'll approve a hard money deal for them. Hello friends, I'm Jimmy Frank Rogers with LearnPrivateLending.com, where we help you maximize the rate of return on your money as safely as possible by making loans on real estate. If you're new to the channel, we'd love for you to hit the subscribe button down below, and of course, the links to everything that we discuss will be available in the description down below. So today, in this second video of our two-part series, what I'd like to get into is to talk to you a little bit about how do I analyze the actual deal structure of a loan that someone's asking me to make. So how do I determine how much the loan amount I should make? Also how much I should charge the person. And what I'd like to go through in today's video is I'm going to show you step by step exactly what criteria I look at, and actually all of the resources that I use are online and free for anybody to use. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to go through it and show you my computer screen so that you can see what I'm looking at and what information I collect so that I can determine whether to make a loan or not. Let's get started.
So I'd like to take you through an example of what it looks like whenever I'm contacted about a possible loan that someone wants me to do for them, and what are the criteria that I look at whenever I'm figuring out if this is a good deal or not based on the deal structure. So what I've done is I built a spreadsheet here in Google Sheets so that I can just plug and play different things and be able to see at a glance. So this is an example. I've picked out a random house, 7730 Chadwick Road in Waco, Texas, zip code. I've been approached by John Doe, our flipper, and he's got a deal for us. And just to make matters very simple, let's use just some basic numbers. So let's pretend he is purchasing the property for $50,000. He believes that it's going to take about $20,000 to rehab the property. Rehab meaning to fix it up and get it ready to sell. He thinks it's going to take about 3 months to sell the property, and the ARV, or the after repair value, he believes to be $100,000. So right off the bat, one of the things that I'm looking at is he's wanting a loan amount of $70,000, which is the $50,000 plus the $20,000. And so I'm looking at, is the loan to the value, the actual value that the house is going to be worth after we repair it, 70% or less. That's just a good guideline. Doesn't mean I may never go above that, but it's just a good rule of thumb. And so for our example, as far as the terms that I'm offering, I'm charging 4 points up front. I'm charging an annual interest rate of 12%, which equates to 1% per month in interest that I'm charging. I'm also charging a loan fee of $995 up front for all of the underwriting and servicing that I have to do on the loan. So my estimated profit is $5,895 if it works out that he purchases the home and sells it within 3 months. The estimated return on investment on my money is 8.42%, and if you could, in a perfect world, do this loan for the entire 4 months, which means if it's a 3-month loan, in 12 months we could do it 4 times, so that's 12 months divided by 3 months is 4 times, you would be able to make an annualized ROI of 33.69%. One of the things that I look at here is I always want to see, am I making at least 20% plus annualized on my money? So then I have some different online tools that I go to determine, hey, he says that the thing's going to be worth $100,000 when it's done. But I like to see if that's actually true. So one of the first things I do is I'm going to go to the flood zone page, and what I'm doing here is I'm making sure it's not in a flood zone. This is a simple thing that you don't think's a big deal until it is, because if it's in a flood zone, normal home insurance does not cover any flooding. Only flood policy sold by FEMA can cover any kind of flooding. So I want to see right off the bat, hey, is this something that's in a flood zone? So I'm going to go up here, enter it in, and take a look at the flood map. So it's thinking about it. So it shows me a map here, and what we want it to be in is Zone X, area of minimal flood hazard. So good news, sees right here, this is Zone AE. This would be in the flood zone. It's a high likelihood of flooding. You would want to make sure you had flood insurance on the property if you did do that. And I would probably not even loan on a house that's in a flood zone. I think it's just too difficult to sell, and it's just not worth it. The risk is too high. So at a minute, this would be a disqualifier if it was not in the Zone X. I wouldn't loan on this property. But good news, it is in Zone X, so I feel really good about that. Next thing I'm going to go to is Zillow.com. And I'm going to plug in my address again. And I want to see how much they think the property's worth. So they're saying the estimate of $188,498. Hey, that's pretty good. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet, $188,498. So I'll plug that in here. And it's not in the flood zone. The next thing I'm going to do is go to Realtor.com. I really like Realtor.com just because I feel like as far as the information you're getting, it's pretty good. So let's plug in our address again. And again, it's saying $188,800. So 88,800. And then finally, I'm also going to go to the tax appraisal website. This is a very helpful tool to see what it appraised for as far as property taxes go. So Waco, Texas is actually in McLennan County. And so I can look up the McLennan County Tax Appraisal District. And I can go to a property search here. And I can plug in my address. Street number and street name. Do a search. The other thing that this will do for me, so I'm seeing the appraised value at $162,920. Let's go back and plug that in. $162,920. Is I also want to look at this and just see if they've been paying their property taxes. That might give me an idea if there's any liens that I want to make sure my flipper knows about. And this isn't showing me any information, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so I've gotten all the information I need off those. Let's go back to our spreadsheet. And so the average value between all of these is $188,072. And so the purchase price divided by the average value is about 27%. Generally, I like to see a purchase price somewhere in the 50% range or less. And if you're looking at the ARV, less than the average value, it's 55%. So in this example, I think what you've seen is we've got a really good deal here. This is very low risk. If they are actually getting this deal, property should sell for somewhere in the 180 range, so our flipper is very low. Obviously, this is just a made-up deal. I was using these numbers just because it's very simple to figure out the loan to value, but this is something that I would more than likely definitely do a deal on. Everything looks very good. And so anyways, this is a simple little spreadsheet that I use, and I find very helpful for helping me to just kind of plug in the numbers and at a quick glance take a look that does the math even work before I take into consideration any other external factors. The other thing that I will do too is take a look on, I like Realtor.com because it can also show me other homes for sale in the area. So right now we're looking at 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes, 1,600 square feet, kind of in Texas, your basic starter home. I can also look at other homes for sale in the area. And give me an idea of, is this the most expensive home in an area, or is it kind of an average home for the area, or is it on the lower end? Generally, the faster a home is going to sell is if it's towards the lower end, the more affordable places. So as I look at there's lots of other sold homes here. Here's some other homes. This one is for $225,000. I can click on that. Maybe I need to go back here. So it shows me a little thumbnail, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This one's a little bit bigger. Okay, so that makes sense. Here's one for $149,000. It's a little bit lower. Again, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to just take a look at some other houses for sale in the area. One of the things you want to do too is see how they compare to your house. Do they have any pictures of the inside? Are the other houses already rehabbed? Do they look really good? Or are they probably all original and need to have a lot of work done? These are things that you want to take into consideration as you're looking at whether your numbers of your ARV, what do you think your ARV is going to be, and how does it compare? Lots of really good information here on Realtor.com. You can see school districts. This is definitely built for people looking to purchase homes. It's got tax information there. You can explore schools. I can see which school districts are around. Crime, very low crime area. Public transit, we don't have much here in Texas. Everybody has a car in Texas. Nearby neighborhoods, what are the median listing values in those neighborhoods? One of the other nice things about this that I can look at if it's an area I'm not 100% familiar with is I can go up here. This is Woodway, Texas. I can click on the buy and look at the Waco housing market. Something that I want to check is to make sure they've got plenty of homes for sale. So here we've got 680 homes for sale in Waco. So that means we're going to have a pretty good data set for 127 for rent. Here's the median listing price. This is very important too whenever you're looking at how big of a loan you're going to make, is you want it to be at the median listing price or below when everything is completed. So if we were looking at our spreadsheet, what we would want to see is an ARV that is at or below the median listing price. Obviously I'm saying so within reason. So in this case we've got an ARV of 100,000, median listing price for Waco of 189, so well below that. This is a very, very easy no-brainer. What I don't want to loan on is something that has a much higher listing price, just because the chances of it sitting on the market longer are higher. The other problem with that is the chance, generally we're only doing about a 6-month loan, and I don't want my money tied up too long, because what that does is it actually lowers my rate of return. So in our example here, I was making an annualized rate of return of 33.69. If we were to change this and say, all right, let's pretend it's 9 months, what that just did, dropped it all the way down to 19.23%. If I made it 12 months, it just dropped it down to 17.42. Still a pretty good rate of return, but I want the better returns. Plus the risk of the borrower going into default is much higher whenever they have loans that go for a much longer period of time. So ideally, if someone's doing a good job flipping a house, it shouldn't be from start to finish more than about 4 months. So I'm saying 3 months is ideal. Somewhere in that 90 days to 120 days is what's going to be normal for someone who's getting a good deal on a house, doing the work quickly, getting it back on the market and getting it sold so that they can pay us off.
So as a special bonus to everyone who's made it this far in the video, if you would like a copy of my spreadsheet that I use to analyze a deal, please go to learnprivatelending.com and join our email list, and I'll send that to you right away. So I hope you got some good information today. Please feel free to like or leave a comment, especially if there's any information that you'd like to see me cover in the future. I'd be happy to respond to any comments that you might be able to leave below. Have a great day.